Hey friends, welcome back to Acre Homestead. Today we are heading into our plant nursery. We have a local nursery we're going to go to today together. We also are probably going to go into a couple big box stores and maybe Costco, depending on if we find everything we need to find at the first stores we go to. You guys know that we are growing a lot of stuff in pots and containers this year, and that's what I'm in the market for. I'm in the market to kind of fill out my collection. I've been collecting pots and containers over the last year, but I need a couple more to complete my collection. We need to buy potatoes today. It's time to plant potatoes. It is 73 degrees today. It is the nicest day of the year so far. And so I want to spend the day out in the garden centers of my local stores and having a good time hanging out with you. We also need to buy a bunch of flowers. Well, I don't know if need is the word. Yes, need. We need flowers this year. We're going big on flowers. I really want to create my garden to be a really beautiful place, not only to be very abundant in produce, hopefully, but I also want it to be a stunning and gorgeous place to spend some time in together. So let's go into the store. We're gonna hit up a few stores. We're gonna see what we can find. I already have my seats laying back because I know I'm gonna be filling it with potting soil and pots and flowers and all the things. So let's just go right inside and see what we find. So we're at my local nursery first, and I wanna see what kind of pots and stuff they have here. So these are all plastic pots. I don't think I want any more plastic pots. I have a lot of plastic pots that I'm recycling and that my friends and family have given to me. But I think the ones that I purchase, I want to be the terracotta ones. I just got distracted by all the bulbs. Now, my house, I'm pretty lucky. The previous owner planted a ton of bulbs, so I don't need to get any of these today, but they are sure fun to look at. Look at these really big leaves. That's one bulb. That thing is massive. Oh, these are pretty. Elephant ear. I guess I just had to keep walking because the terracotta pots are around the corner. Okay, this is what I'm looking for. So this is $88, and I know I can get this at the box store for way cheaper than that, unfortunately. Oh, look at these. You can see the different type of clay they use to make this pot, but I need a little bit bigger. That's a little too small. So unfortunately, these terracotta pots are quite a bit more expensive here than what I know I can get at the big box stores. So we might have to put these on hold and not get these here, but I know that we're gonna get our potatoes here, and there's probably quite a few flowers that we're gonna get here as well. This is the first time I've ever just let myself come to a nursery to buy flowers. I've only ever really focused on growing vegetables because that's practical. You can eat that, but I think there's something to be said about putting beauty in your yard and in your landscape. So I'm just giving myself permission today to just enjoy the flowers and seeing what we see. Oh, these are things we have growing in our yard already. I have a bunch of this coming up as a volunteer, meaning it's just self-seeded itself from last year. I didn't plant it. And so I don't think I'm ever gonna have to plant calendula again because of that. Here's some bachelor buttons. Here's some sweet peas. I've never grown sweet peas before for the flowers. I don't really have space in the garden for those. Oh, look, they have nasturtiums. These nasturtiums are looking just as good as the ones that or I should say mine are looking just as good as these ones. Oh, and we're growing this one, Alaska Mix. We started those together, and I am growing this one too, Empress of India. So when we get home, maybe this afternoon I'll plant some of these. I love nasturtiums. I think that their leaves are just absolutely incredibly unique and super fun. All right, oh, I like those. These are so pretty. Woo! That is a little bit out of my price range, but that sure is stunning. I wonder what these are. I think these are ranunculus. We bought some of these together, and I think we're gonna buy some more of them today. So I did find that these are indeed ranunculus, but they are $10 for this one pot, and I bought 2 ranunculuses last week at Lowe's for $5, so I think we're going to pass on these. but I think these white pots are so pretty. These flowers remind me of my mom. They're bringing me back to my childhood. Every year, my mom would plant these with a blue flower. She'd plant the red ones with blue flowers and white flowers, and that's what she would put on our deck for 4th of July. And just the smell of these is bringing me back. So one thing I did not start from seed at all this year are marigolds, and the only ones I grew last year were these white ones. They're almost kind of like a green color, because this orange is not my favorite, but they have some really stunning ones over here. Like, this is a pretty unique orange color, so we might pick up, and look at this one. It's kind of like a, what's this called? Strawberry blonde. We might have to get some of these more unique looking color marigolds, because I'm really drawn to this. I think we might have to get this little guy to come home with us. Look at this one. What is this called? Fireball. I like this one too. I definitely can tell I'm drawn to these more unique marigolds. Look at that together. So these are petunias, and they have not started blooming yet, but I think if I put something like this purple petunia with those orange marigolds, that might be really beautiful. I think we're gonna do that. Purple and orange are a good complementary color to each other. Coming into the shopping for the flowers, I probably should have some sort of color combination or goal, but I think we're just gonna see what we see and kind of buy what I'm more drawn to. Typically, it's more of the purples and deep colors, and as opposed to really bright colors like yellows and oranges. That's why I like these guys, and I think the purple, see, we're just gonna have to use our imagination, but I think that purple and orange together will look really nice. I think I need to get some sort of greenery that's gonna cascade out of my pots. And my parents always had these growing at their property. My parents are super good landscapers, so I'm working on that. I'm not a good landscaper yet, but that's kind of what I'm working toward. So I already have some pansies at home that I need to plant, but I'm really drawn to these orange and purple ones together. I just love that complementary color. But I might have to buy these ones, because I didn't buy any that were these color, and these are so unique that we might just have to pick this guy up. As much fun as I am having with these flowers, I do need to focus. I came here to buy potatoes, and that's what we're doing. And this is my favorite place to buy potatoes locally, other than online. I can link where I purchased some potatoes online, but they have a fantastic selection. At the big box stores, they only carry these little boxes of potatoes. You can't buy them in bulk for seed potatoes. And if you're local to this nursery, I can link where I am. I'm not affiliated with them whatsoever, but I just like that they put your potatoes in bulk, and you can buy a ton of different varieties, and they have really good descriptions of what each potato is, how to grow it, what it tastes like, and when it's harvestable. For example, the German butterball, I like the description: smooth, thick, golden skin with yellow flesh, small to medium oblong tubers, outstanding taste. Great all-purpose potato, stores well, great variety for bins because it's an indeterminate. Potatoes, like tomatoes, have an indeterminate and determinate variety. These butterballs are indeterminate, meaning they'll continue to grow and they'll continue to produce fruit along the vine throughout the growing season, versus a determinate variety of potato will only grow to a certain size and produce a certain amount of fruit right there. And so it's good to know the difference for an indeterminate versus determinate, depending on if you're going to plant them in pots. Indeterminate potatoes are really good at growing in pots, because you can continue to layer up the soil along them, and they'll continue to produce potatoes along that stem. So I like to look for just kind of like a medium to smallish size potato. You can cut potatoes and grow them, 2 seed potatoes per potato, but I don't like doing that because it increases the risks of mold and disease. So I just go for kind of the smaller-ish size, where I just plant one of those potatoes and that's the whole plant. As opposed to buying a really big one like this where you would probably want to cut that. Try to look to see if there's any like soft spots or mold or anything. These are a dark red Norland potato. They're an early variety, and that's why they already have a lot of eyes on them. We're going to be growing potatoes in 3 different ways this year. The first way is in the raised beds. That's the way that I've had the best luck so far growing potatoes. The second way, we're going to do a roost out method, and this did okay last year. You can see me harvest my potatoes, but I wasn't watering them, and I think it's going to do a lot better this year. The roost out method is where you put them on the ground, and then I'm going to cover them with a bunch of straw, and then we're going to be growing in some root bags. This is not the first time I've been to this nursery this year, and I saw these grow tubes last time I was here, and I was pretty drawn to them. I didn't buy them. There's 2 bags, and they're $29.99, but I think I might go back and get them. Tell me what you think. These are cool because you can continue to build up the soil on these really well, like I was talking about for the indeterminate tomatoes. So I'm going to think about that. If you want to know how many potatoes to plant, about 1 pound of potatoes, give or take, will give you about 10 pounds of potatoes to harvest. This is where I bought my Walla Walla starts, the ones that I planted last week, and they are completely out of them now, but I'm sure they have more. And these are the sets that I was talking about. If you want to have a bigger harvest, I wouldn't recommend growing the sets. I would recommend seeing if you can find the starts somewhere. Across from the potatoes, these different varieties of sages caught my eye. What caught my eye first were the tags because the name sounded incredible, honey melon sage. And then when I was looking closer, the red flowers that come on these sages were just absolutely stunning. This is a scarlet tangerine sage, and so I'm going to pick the leaves and I'm going to give them a good smell. I don't know if these are medicinal or if they are culinary or just pretty to look at. Oh wow, that's the tangerine sage. It smells good. Oh, the lemon. This is the, oh my gosh, that melon lemon. We're gonna have to get one of those. And then they also have this magic mountain basil. I've never seen that before. So I just read the back of this, and this is a culinary basil and or a ornamental. But it's a lot cold hardier as opposed to your traditional basil. We should smell it too. I feel like half of plant shopping is smelling. You know, that one doesn't smell very good. Whew. I don't know about that one. But this lemon melon sage, you're coming home with me. Oh, you really get the melon on that. That's fantastic. We're going to head into the vegetable section to see what we can see. Last time I was here, there wasn't very much. Oh wow, so since last time I was here, they have tomato starts and peppers already. I don't think I'm going to have to buy any pepper starts. I think mine are doing just fine at home. Same with my tomatoes. You know, don't quote me on that. I might still buy tomato plants, but I don't think I'm going to need to buy any tomato plants. Our last frost date was supposed to be March 30th, our average last frost date. And 2 nights ago, it was 31 degrees. And last night, it was 29 degrees. So don't ever trust your last frost date by just planting right after it is your last frost date. Check the weather and make sure. I'm probably going to give it another 2 weeks before I start planting anything like a tomato or a pepper outside. A couple things that are super easy to start at home are green beans. This is $5 for this pack of green beans. They don't transplant very well. Do yourself a favor, go buy a package of seeds. You can get a package of seeds from MI Gardener for $2. You can grow beautiful beans and you can save yourself quite a bit of money because instead of getting this many plants, you can get probably 40 plants for $2. It is definitely a waste of money to buy carrot starts. In this tray, there's probably 10 carrots, and this is $4.99. Again, it's $5. Carrots do not transplant well. Anything that's a root vegetable transplants terribly. Like these over here, these are beets. Same thing. Beets. Radishes is another one. Anything that's a root crop where you're harvesting the root and that's the goal of the plant, You really don't want to buy it as a start, because when you transplant it, you're going to do a lot of damage to that root, and it's going to have a lot of shock, and it's not going to produce very well. And these things grow relatively easy, direct sowing from seed you purchase. So I would recommend go buy seed packets of these and then plant them. For $5, I can buy almost 6 pounds of organic carrots instead of buying these starts to transplant. Same with beets. For $6, I can buy this many organic beets in my grocery store, no problem. So go buy yourself a $2 seed pack and plant 40 beets for half the price. Oh, this is funny. A kale plant is in with these beet plants. These were the red cabbages we planted last week together, and they did not have dinosaur kale when I was here last, so I probably am gonna pick this up. For $5, I will definitely get more than $5 worth of kale from 6 plants over the whole growing season. When I was here last, one of the things that caught my eye that I cannot stop thinking about is this right here. This is an olive plant. I've seen them growing in my areas at some wineries that Josh and I have gone to, and they're absolutely stunning trees. And I just did not justify it last time I was here, but they still have them. So I'm reading the back of the card, and I'm just dreaming about having an olive tree. And it looks like I couldn't resist this time I was here. So we're going to attempt to grow an olive tree together. They did have beautiful lettuce. Lettuce is another thing that you can direct seed really easily. I was tempted because it's so beautiful, but I just planted lettuce a week and a half ago, and it shouldn't be too long before we have lettuce. The majority of the plants I'm looking for today are annuals. They're flowers we're going to plant in pots, and they'll just last this 1 year, but I wanted to head outside and look at the perennials as well. I don't have any lavender on my property at all, and I feel like that is something that we need on the property. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to read a couple different variety. Oh, this is the kind I like. I just like their traditional lavender with the little buds. We'll get these ones. This nursery had a gift shop, and I had no idea, so I thought it'd be fun if we took a look inside to see what we could see. And it was full of houseplants, and houseplants are something that at some point I would love to fill my house with, but for right now I don't have the skill set to keep them alive, so I had a lot of fun just looking around. They had a rare and unique section of houseplants, and there was definitely some very exotic looking plants in this gift shop. I've talked about the fact that I can't keep houseplants alive. I purchased a fiddle leaf fig and I quickly killed it. I love these things. I would love to be able to have one, but I just can't keep them alive. I went back to what I came for, and here is a huge herb section. I have a lot of herbs at home, but this lime, thyme, and lavender thyme caught my eye. Let's smell the lime thyme. That smells good. Have the lavender. Smells so good. Now let's just smell an English thyme and see if we can tell a difference. Oh yeah, that just smells like thyme. The lime one really smells like lime. I just smelled it after smelling the English thyme, and wow, that smells so good. Across from the herbs, this caught my eye. This is a kumquat tree, and if I ever have a greenhouse one day, I would love to try to grow kumquats. My mom used to buy these for me every Christmas and put them in my stocking. I haven't eaten them in a really long time, but I think it would be super cool to be able to have your own kumquat tree. Those other trees were some lime trees, and then this caught my eye. This is a fig tree, and look how beautiful these figs are. They're a really pretty pink color. Looking at these because I was thinking I need something white for my pots, but I found these, and look at the shape of these leaves. They're so stunning. Silver Falls, and I just spoke with an associate and she said these would be perfect cascading down the side of a pot. She said they're a one and done, but I think we're gonna have to get one of these. Oh, they're growing together. I think think the silver of these is going to be so beautiful next to a terracotta pot. But then I was looking at these. Friends, I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to flowers, but this is a double petunia. And do you think we need to get these too? I'm growing my own snapdragons, so we don't need to buy any snapdragons. But how pretty is that picture? So I was gonna buy these ones, and these are $6.99 because I remember my parents having these on their property growing up, or we were just lived in a neighborhood, but I found these are $2.99, same plant, just a little bit littler. I think I'm gonna go put these back, and I'm gonna get a couple of these little ones instead because they'll have plenty of time to fill in over the growing season. This is their outdoor area, and they just have hundreds and hundreds of pots. These pots I think are absolutely stunning. They're outside of my price range. This is almost $400, but it's kind of like I'm a kid in a candy store. I can definitely enjoy looking. I mean, look at this guy. For comparison, you can see how big this thing is. This one is $600 and I could fit in it. It's huge, but I don't need something this big, but I enjoy looking at them. I think they're handmade pottery. Oh, these are cool. They're like a really pretty green color. I kind of am more drawn to the natural colors like this stone. I think this one is stunning. My parents have always been excellent landscapers. They've always been into keeping a really beautiful yard, and they do have a good garden now, but they definitely keep their yard looking stunning, and that's why my parents helped me with mine because I don't know what to do. And we used to come to stores like this when I was younger, and I would get so bored. And now I feel like I'm a kid in a candy store and I could spend all day here. I do think we're done here. I'm gonna go check out, and then we're gonna head to some more garden center stores. I do not have a hummingbird feeder. When I was a dental hygienist, we had a hummingbird feeder outside my operatory, and I was responsible for taking care of it. And I loved watching the hummingbirds. So I don't know, do I need a hummingbird feeder? And we wouldn't use this. I would just make my own sugar water. I wouldn't buy anything special like this to do it. I think this one is really pretty. That would be really hard to clean though. Think about having to try to get your hand in here and clean this from the sugar water, so that's probably not the most practical one. I think I'm gonna pass on those because those aren't gonna be easy to clean, and just because I was the one responsible for cleaning them most of the time when I worked at that dental office, the ones we had there had straight sides, and even those sometimes would get really gross. Even though I changed it every week or two, you definitely have to scrub it out, and so to have something like that with a skinny neck, not practical. I thought these hanging baskets were just absolutely beautiful. Every year our realtor gives us a hanging basket for the last, I think, 6 years or so. So that's why I have all those extra pots that I planted ginger in, and it is sprouting. Just a update, I'm excited about that. These are ladybugs, and they're supposed to be natural predators for aphids. So I've never done that. So let me know if you guys have done that. And here is our cart, and I'm so happy. And I just think that, oh, it's going to be so beautiful. I didn't realize that oranges and purples and whites were what we were going with this year for our pots, because this is the first time I'm doing it, and I'm loving it. I'm really glad that that's kind of what we went with today. So now I get to load all these goodies into my car, and we're gonna head to probably Lowe's or Home Depot to get some pots to put these things in. And when we're done, I'll show you everything that I got. You'll see a whole haul. I just pulled into Lowe's parking lot. Oh, it looks like they have a bunch of stuff on sale. They have a big sign outside, which I've never seen before. And they have their nursery doors open, which they've been closed the last couple times I've been here. I wanted to start at my local mom and pop nursery first, because that's where I would prefer to spend my money if at all possible, because I'd like to support, you know, local business. But the plants are about the same price, because I've been to Lowe's and I've looked at the prices here and there. But the pot price, or the prices for the pots, that's a different kind of video. they are definitely a lot more affordable at Lowe's. And so just, you know, working in your budget, finding what works. And we probably, because I did buy that olive tree, which was right there, and I don't want to put that olive tree in the ground right now. I want to get a big pot for it. And they have those really big pots at Costco, and they are plastic, but I think they were only like $15. And so I think what we're going to do is we're going to see what we can find at Lowe's, and then we might be heading over to Costco to see if they still have those really big pots. That's the problem with Costco, is sometimes they have it and then the next time you go they don't have it. So let's go into Lowe's and see what we can find. So they have all their vegetable starts over here, so maybe we should start over here, and then we'll get a cart and we'll go inside. And I know their terracotta pots are right there, so we'll head there next. Yeah, these actually are a little bit cheaper, but you can see some of these plants are damaged because we had a frost last night, and so these plants are pretty stunted, and you got to be careful if you buy plants that you know were outside and it was really cold. A lot of them look pretty good, but these ones are definitely damaged here. Can you see those leaves? But you want to be careful buying plants too when they have flowers, when they're flowering too early. Oh, they smell good though. Yeah, see, these are, poor guys, don't look so good. Lettuce, oh wow, look at the color of this one. That is so pretty. I just planted 4 different varieties of romaine lettuce, so we don't need to buy any lettuce. You can see some of these basil plants got a little bit damaged in the frost too last night. I gotta touch everything. That's just kind of what I have to do. Mint. So looking at their peppers here, some of these, my peppers at home look just as good as these peppers. I am so happy to see that my peppers are just as far along as these ones. Now mine, they're outside right now because it's such a beautiful day, but they're still coming in at night. I'm not ready to plant them outside yet. I'm probably gonna give them 2 more weeks before they go out, but I'm really happy to see my peppers. Now these peppers are $4.78 each. I probably have, I don't know, 35 pepper plants. Oh, I'm getting distracted at home. So you can save yourself a ton of money if you start your own starts. But some things, oh my gosh, these have, sorry, squirrel. I was nicknamed that in hygiene school. I think it's kind of a rude nickname, but I was. And I guess I just proved myself right. But there's a tomato on this plant. You can save yourself a ton of money if you start your own starts, but there is a huge upfront cost because you do need grow lights and a heat mat. Well, you don't need a heat mat, but it really makes the process go a lot better. But if you have to buy your starts, starting seeds and growing food are 2 different things. They're 2 different skill sets. I would kind of put it in the same analogy with starting seeds indoors and gardening, how they're 2 different skill sets, as cooking dinner is a different skill set than preserving food. Just because you know how to cook a dinner doesn't mean you know how to preserve food for winter. Doesn't mean you know how to can. They're 2 different skill sets. So if you want to start gardening, but you don't want to start your own seeds, just go buy your plants. Even though it can save you money in the long run to start your own seeds, and you can grow a ton more varieties than what the big box stores is going to allow you to purchase, because they just don't offer as many varieties as what you can get in a seed catalog. Do what you can do and start where you start. I do want to mention it was an instructor that named me Squirrel, not one of my classmates, and that's why it bothered me, because I don't think an instructor should be nicknaming their students a nickname like that. But enough on that, let's go look at the flowers. This was the sign that I saw out of the corner of my eye when I was in the car, and I'm pretty excited about the 5 for $10. That's a really good buy. I did ask them if you had to buy 5 in order to get the sale, and they said no. So that is where I went first, was to look at the petunias, marigolds, and those little white flowers, and I'm not even sure what those little white flowers are called. So it's 5 of these packs for $10, so this is a fantastic price. The marigolds all came in just yellow, but the petunias and the daisies, the colors were all mixed together. So what I was doing was trying to sort through the flowers to find the packs that had the most purples and oranges and whites. So I went ahead and picked up these. These remind me of my parents. My parents always had those in their landscaping. I was here last week and they had a bunch of ranunculuses for a very good price. Ranunculuses are beautiful, and I follow a couple flower farmers and I really wanted to grow them, but you buy these quarums and I didn't buy them in time. We saw these at the other store. I don't see that color. Ooh, I want to find, oh, that one's pretty. I have to crawl in here to get it. That one looks good. These are $4.98. So let's see if we can find some orange. These have nice looking roots. You always want to look at the bottom of the roots to see if they're white or brown and dried out. But that's beautiful. So we're gonna get that one. Maybe this one too. See, those ones are a little bit browner. We're for sure gonna get this one. Wait, oh, there's my purple one. See if we can find some more purple ones that look healthy. Those ones don't look super healthy back there. What are these? Those are cute. I think these are in the wrong spot. They're a little too pink, I guess, for what we're going for. It's crazy how different of what they have today versus what they had a week ago, because it almost seems like they have less stuff right now. I don't know. This is what I came for. These are $34 and these are $19 and those are $22. So these are way more affordable than the ones that I found at the other store. Couple things I look at when I buy these is I like to inspect each pot. Sometimes they have cracks on the inside, sometimes they have cracks on the outside. Like I can see this one has a crack right here, so I'm not gonna get this one. And you can see there's a crack right there. See, this one has a crack on the inside, so we're gonna pass on this one. What got me so excited about these pots are the fact that I have two at home that I got at the thrift store. And those I think are a higher quality. They're the made in Italy ones. They're the ones that were at the nursery we were at before. These I think are probably not made in Italy, but they're just as beautiful and I'm just as excited about them. But I have those two in my garden and I've absolutely loved them over the last year, so I wanted to go ahead and invest in some more pots. And I'm taking the time to search through and make sure I find ones that don't have cracks or anything. And I've been saving gift certificates that I have gotten for different gifts throughout this last year. And I may have borrowed my husband's gift certificates that he got for his birthday in order to make this happen. And I think he's very willing and grateful to donate his gift certificates to this garden adventure. I have two different sizes here, but over the last year I have been collecting a couple different sizes. So when we get home, we're going to have multiple sizes of these pots. I don't know that much about gardening. You guys know this is only my third year gardening. But black pots, I think probably aren't the best idea because they're gonna get so much hotter. And when you're growing in pots, you already have to be careful because they dry out a lot faster because they're exposed to evaporation. And so I have a feeling that black pots probably are not the best idea. So I'm really liking the idea of having a couple more of these. I have two wine barrels. These are kind of like a mimicking wine barrel. They're only $15, so they're a great price. So I think we might pick up some of those. And I think I like this tan color a little bit better than this kind of burnt color. One thing that is one of my goals this year, or my goals going forward when buying pots and planters, is to think of things that are quality. They're going to last the length of time. I have a bunch of plastic pots already that I am recycling from different hanging baskets I've had over the last 5 or 6 years, and pots that have been gifted to me that are plastic, but they're fading and they still hold dirt, so they hold a plant. But anything I buy new, I want to try to have it be quality. One of my goals is to continue to see if I can thrift beautiful pots in different containers, but for today, I think we scored some pretty awesome things. I want to talk a little bit about soil to go in these containers. That first bag and this bag says raised bed mix. And there's a difference between a raised bed mix and a potting or container soil. you are going to want to make sure that when you're putting a soil in a pot or container, that it says specifically a potting soil or container soil mix. If it's raised bed mix, topsoil, or garden mix, that soil is going to be too dense and it's not going to have good drainage for a pot. These have gone up in price, these wine barrels. I bought 2 of these last year and I spent, I think it was under $30 for 2 of them, and I got them at Lowe's. It's 78 degrees right now, and this is by far the hottest day of the year, and it feels fantastic. The selection at Lowe's was pretty pitiful for flowers. My pots, I made it out like a bandit with the pots. I'm happy with the price point on those. The cashier was so gracious and he helped me separate those pots. One of the other ladies there, she put a little bit of water on it and it allowed the pots to separate. I guess when it gets really hot, the wood expands and it can make them stick together. So I think I didn't find a big pot for my fig tree, my olive tree. So I think I am gonna run into Costco and see. I don't know if I'm gonna go into Home Depot. Last time we were at Costco together, they did not have this organic potting mix. This is $10. I think I'm gonna grab a couple of these, and I already found some other goodies just walking in, but we're gonna grab probably 4 of these. Well, this was a bust. These are the only pots they have. They're $20 for 3, but they're a little too little. I think they look nice, but I was wanting the really big pots. Doesn't mean I didn't find any good deals when I came into Costco. Let me show you what I got. Everything was on sale except for one item. This is why I don't like to come into Costco very often, because I get roped into things. These aren't on sale, but I need some new sandals, and so these were $19.99. The socks were $3 off, and my socks are falling apart, so I thought that would be good. Ziploc bags were $3.50 off, and I figured I would go ahead and get these. These are great for food preservation, and so since they're on sale, I went ahead and picked those up. Sunscreen was $4 off, so I picked that up. This was, I think it was $19.99. It was on sale. I saw this when we were shopping together last time, and I didn't get it, and I wish I did, because I like to lay in the sun in my yard, and so I went ahead and I'm gonna get this since it's on sale. I didn't get what I came in here for, but I think I got some good finds. Ever since I saw that blanket, I was like kicking myself, like, why didn't I get that? Why didn't I get that? Because I bring just a towel outside and I literally like to just lay out in the sun whenever it's nice. And then my husband really liked these chips. Last time I got him and I was like, I don't know if he's gonna like them. He really likes them. So since I'm here, I'm gonna go ahead and get them for him. And that's all I'm getting. That's all I'm getting. We're leaving and we're going home. Let me tell you what, Thursday at 4 o'clock is the best time to go to Costco. There was hardly anybody in there, and I can't say that for the majority of the times I go in there. So let's go home and let's go see all the flowers we got. All right, so let me show you what we got at the nursery first. And over here, we got some really beautiful dark pansies. These were the only pansies we got at the nursery today, and I just think they're absolutely stunning. I did switch out those bigger, more expensive, creepy green things. I think these green plants are going to look so beautiful next to the terracotta plants, and these are going to hopefully cascade down the side of the pot. Now we got 2 different petunias here. These are just a purple petunia, and I don't know what these are. They look like a miniature petunia to me. I've never bought a petunia, and you're going to see we bought a lot of different petunias today. So we got 2 of these purple, and then these 2 are little white ones, and they haven't started blooming yet, but I think those are going to be really pretty. These are what are called a double petunia. So they have 2 sets of petals, and I think that's going to be absolutely stunning when those bloom. And I hope that these are the colors we got. Here are some impatiens. I didn't even know what an impatient looked like. I've heard that name before. I've seen these flowers before. I just didn't know that that's what these were. So these are white impatiens. We did go ahead and get the lime thyme, and I think these are some of the prettiest flowers we got today. They are kind of like a miniature snapdragon. I don't know. This is what the name of them are. And I got 2 of these, and I just think they're so beautiful. And I think next to this purple, because there's a little bit of purple in the inside of those flowers, that's just going to be really pretty. We got 2 lavenders. These are just the traditional lavender. And then I did go ahead and I got that honey melon sage, which smells incredible. Here is another one of these orange snapdragon looking things. I got a fig tree. We have 2 fig trees on the property, and I thought it'd be fun to have another variety. This is just a completely different variety. It's a dwarf fig, and I'm gonna put this in a pot to begin with this year. And then here is our olive tree. This could have been a really silly purchase, but I'm excited to have it. And then we got 2 of these Silver Falls plants, and we got 3 of these really pretty marigolds that are kind of like this yellow with a little bit of orange. And then we kind of got these like more orange ones, and we got 4 of those. And then I didn't realize I got 2 more petunias here. The last 2 things we got at the nursery were some huckleberry potatoes and some red potatoes. So we got 3 ranunculuses, 2 orange and 1 purple. And then we got some of these. These remind me of my childhood. My parents always had these plants when we were growing up. So I'm gonna use these little white flowers as filler. We got a couple different pansies, some more petunias, and I don't know what these are. These are really pretty. They're just a little white flower that I'm gonna use as some filler. We also got 2 of the small wine barrel pots. We got 3 of the bigger terracotta pots and 2 of the squatty wider terracotta pots. And then after I checked out, I had seen this in the store and I didn't buy it. And then once I loaded my car, I went back in and I bought it, and I thought that that would be really pretty with my olive plant in it. That white pot just screams kind of like Greek to me. I could be completely wrong, but that's what I'm gonna do with that pot. And then we got our green stalk. So if you're interested in a green stalk, I can link it down below. What it's gonna look like when it's all put together is that right there. I got the exact same one. Well, friends, this represents just a really exciting start to 2022's garden. I cannot wait to see all of these flowers in my garden and just the abundance and beauty that it's gonna bring. I'm just so grateful that you guys are here along with me on this journey. I have so much fun hanging out with you guys. If you enjoyed this video, I'd greatly appreciate a thumbs up. If you want to see more what I have going on around here, you want to see an entire garden tour, I can put a video right up here and you can go enjoy that. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye guys.